Come back.
Should not do that more than I have to. That troll voice is really hard on my throat. Do you need to unmute the bloody game, though? Here we go. Just 1 second. Got cat problems. As always. So, we were talking to Paul Amsel. Back to Shadowrun. Whatchamajig, Dragonfall. Amsel's expression is harder than you've seen it before. When he speaks, his voice is grim. Iga told me of Green Winter's death. She said he died in the same manner that Monica did. She shouldn't have done that. Speaking for the team is my job, not hers. And no, I'm not gonna be that bitchy. Wasn't a pretty sight. Amsel nods gravely. I know that you and Iga have had your differences. I would tell you that she was badly shaken by the sight of Winter's body. She also mentioned that you found something in Winter's safe, a package full of very old discs. May I see them? So we're gonna hand over the discs. Good God. Gingerly, Amsel lifts a disc from the bundle and holds it up to the light. Slowly he begins to turn his hand, causing rainbow patterns to shimmer upon its surface. I haven't seen one of these since I was a boy. This is a DVD-RW. A data storage medium from the mid-2000s. I'm amazed that Winters was able to find a device that could play it. Do you know how we can read these things? He puts the DVD in his hands, quickly inspects the others. The first disc I looked at might be readable. The others are damaged, some severely so. I have some doubts about them. For now, let's concentrate on the undamaged disc. There's a little shop outside, the Data Haven. Talk to the proprietor, Melit Horley. Melit Hoye. She might be able to help. And tell her to put the cost of the device on my account. On it. Talk to Melit about playing back a DVD. Why couldn't it have been Blu-ray? DVD's so yesterday. Hey boss, what can I do for you? Hey kitty. Here kitty. No, kitty. Kitty, come on. This kitty's being bad. So kitty's gonna stay here on stream. Say hello to Pumpkin Kitty. Hello. How are you holding up? You seem to take Monica's death harder than the others did. Nah, no harder. But I'm less buttoned up than the others are. Igar'll never let herself show any weakness. In Glory, well, she's too full of chrome to feel much of anything. Me, I don't give a damn. I've spent too much of my life putting on a show for others already. What do you mean by that? I used to front a punk band way back when. Believe it or not, I've spent a good chunk of my life on stage. Whenever we weren't playing, I was living up to our fans' expectations. Spouting off, getting into fights, getting drunk, getting laid. Not a bad life, all things considered. Wait a second, you can sing? I was the frontman of a punk band, boss. Fuck no, I can't sing. But I wasn't half bad at riling up a crowd. What was your band called? Maybe I've heard of it. Oh, I doubt it, boss. We never really got any airplay. Spit it out, old man. Alright, boss, if you insist. The band was called Messerkampf. Spelled just like it sounds. big capital letters with an exclamation point. We weren't a big act or anything. We sold a few records here and there, toured around Europe. We had a decent following in England, and we holed up in London from 31 to 36. Spent most of our time slumming it around the East End, picked up enough Cockney to irritate the folks back home. Truth be told, the whole chapter of my life is a bit of blur. We didn't do it for the fans or the fame. We sure as shit didn't care about the money. What mattered to us that we were staying young, drunk, and angry. He takes a moment to examine his gnarled hands. Sad smile on his face. We managed the second two. Good God, where has the time gone? Diedrich shakes himself from his reverie and looks back up at you. A familiar, easy grin returns to his face. But anyway, boss, everything ends eventually, and I washed my hands of it all many years ago. So let's change the subject, if you don't mind. How did you go from fronting a band to running the shadows? Wasn't as big of a leap as you think. I'd already had a healthy disrespect for authority, and I had the magic to back it up. One nice thing about shamanism, as long as you keep your idol happy, it doesn't matter what else you do. The Dragon Slayer chose me to be his servant. As long as I was scrapping with someone bigger than me, he didn't care whether I did it on stage or in the shadows. Tell me about the Dragon Slayer. Not much to tell. He chose me when I was just a kid. I could always feel him in my heart, goading me to laugh louder, hit harder, get rowdier than the rest. Of course, my family didn't understand. But the hell with him, I thought. I knew I was destined for greater things. So I listened to him, and I cracked the skulls of a lot of bad people. He saw this and was pleased and rewarded me with magic. I used that magic to crack bigger, thicker skulls, and so on. It's a simple life, but a good one. Any thoughts about the last run you'd like to share? Well, we found Winters. I guess that's something. The whole thing has left me feeling uneasy, but at least we have a direction to look in. So long, Diedrich. Take it easy, boss. Okay, puppers. Let's go, Dante. Let's go find Malik. How are we doing for time? Kitty. The reason why you're being held, Kitty, even though you don't want to be held, is because you will just get up to shit if I don't hold you. And Melit Hoye is the dwarf over here. I acquired this drone. Can you get it up and running again? Yeah, probably. It might take a bit of doing. I love working with these old corp drones. Can't make you any guarantees, but either way, it's on the house. I'll leave it in your hands. I'll start on it right now. See you later. And there was something else I wanted to talk to you about. Yes? Go on. I am listening. I am looking for something that can play back a DVD-RW. And this is the point where she starts talking. Well, DVD-RW, I've got something that'll play like a -R and a +R and a +-R, but not an RW. God, I hated the early days of DVDs when there was fucking 7 formats or whatever. And that was your technology rant for the day. Really? That is old tech. Very old, in fact. Just a moment, I will go look. She begins to rummage through a bin of obsolete components at the back of her stall. Ah, yes, here we are. The dwarf rustles a mid-sized flat-screen display out of the bin. This display has old enough hookups to connect a DVD player. RCA, you know. Vintage. The player itself, though? This I do not have. You may wish to try your luck down at the junkyard. There's a scavenger there, a primitive man with a crude disposition. If anyone in the Kurtz Bazaar can help you find your DVD player, he can. But he will almost certainly attempt to overcharge you for it. But you are not here for gossip. Shall we conclude our business? I could give you the display for, say, 200 new yen? Paul Amsel said to charge his account. Ah, very well. I will have it packaged up and delivered to Herr Amsel straight away. Best of luck finding your DVD reader. I wish you well. Oro. Oro. Before we go anywhere, let's take a look around. Does Kami have anything new to say? Nope. I did a lot of wandering around earlier, though. It's not really surprising. No one has it. I guess I could talk to the magic dealer again. You know, he's a skeezy scumbag. Welcome back, mein Freundin. What can old Zack get ya? I've got a formula for combat stim. Can you produce something like that? Oh, you know I'm your man. I can hook you up right now. Show me what you got. I know he sells that shit, but I don't fucking care. So I had to use a few things, so I should replace them. I'm not going to bother reading this stuff because it's just... It's generic vendor conversations. So we're going to buy... I think I used 2 of these. Shrotty. A stout old man looks up from whatever old tech he's tinkering with to squint at you through thick, old-fashioned glasses. He pushes them up with an oil-stained finger as he straightens up to nod at you. He speaks with a gruff but well-meaning tone, heavily accented with German tonality. Guten Tag. What can I do for ya? Melit tells me you're the man to talk about DVDs. That little shrew sent you my way, huh? Will wonders never cease. But introductions are in order, I suppose. Shorty Butchman at your service. Need something salvaged? Some old components? Verjagt? Verlegt? I am indeed your man. Wonderful. Yes. You're so pissed off that I'm holding you. All you want is food. Lay down. Go upstairs. Wonderful. How about that DVD player? Well, let's see. I think I've got something that will work for you. Shrotty rummages through the junk heaped on the table behind him. A few seconds later, he snatches a battered plastic lozenge shape from the pile. Ah, here we go. An old Korean player that I dug up last week. 2010 model. A real beauty. Shrotty's smile broadens and he gives you a conspiratorial wink. I fixed her up and got her running. But without any discs to read, I've been mostly using her as a paperweight. Sounds like what I'm looking for. How much do you want for it? I don't know. We could be getting hoodwinked. This could be like like a region. I don't remember what the regions are for DVDs, but if we get region locked out of our DVDs, I am gonna be pissed, Shoddy. I'm gonna come back here and demand a refund. Shoddy glances back at the DVD player, a rueful expression on his face. Well, I will admit, I'm a little loath to part with her. There are plenty of folk out there who really appreciate an older player such as this. I don't know what your intentions are for it. I suppose, given the time and trouble I'm putting into her, that together, I'd be willing to part for, say, above 500 million. Fine. I have a feeling I could have bartered there. You just... Alright, friend. He picks up the ancient device from the table gingerly, presses it into your hands. The plastic is scuffed and worn, and it rattles a bit when you move it. A hell of a deal. Anyway, I am happy knowing that she is going to have some use again. Give her some good use, okay? I like how I have to pay my own damn money for that, but Paul is more than willing to pay for anything else. Jackass, Paul. And this is probably just all like the same shit, yeah. Okay, let's go see Paul. Dog is so big. Well, everyone's moved again. It seems that Amsel has assembled the team in your absence. They stand in a group around the old display you had Mallet deliver. On their faces you can see excitement and apprehension, curiosity and dread. Fox, have you procured a DVD reader? There, handed it to him. Good. This should take me only a moment. Amsel disappears behind the ancient display. After a few minutes of fiddling with the battered inputs, he reappears, a satisfied look down his face. Everything appears to be functional. The disc should be ready to play. Well, don't keep us in suspense. Start the damn thing already. Fox went to the trouble of fetching everything. Let her do the honors. Amsel steps back, clearing a path for you to access the antique machine. A soft whirring sound fills the air as the ancient DVD player spins the disc up to speed. The scratched LCD display comes to life. A menu fills the screen. Play track 1. The screen goes black and a cheerful digital chiming sound spills out of the display speakers. A crackle of static fills the air, coupled with a shrill electronic whine. After a few moments, the display goes live and a disheveled old man appears on the screen. His eyes glitter with excitement. The timestamp on the screen is 2034, August 15th, 2034. No, September. Fuck. Fuck! I can't count. Hey, it's Adrian Foucault. Hammy, I think we have found her. No, that's not right. Hermie, I think we have found her. After all this time, fair showing her. I knew she wasn't dead. She survived the Dragonfall, just as I had always said. I knew it. I was right. The screen explodes into static, and the electronic whine in the background sharpens into a needle-like pulse of high-pitched sound. Somewhere in the background, Dante lets out a low whimper. The screen clears, and the excited face is closer to the screen than it was before. The words spill out of him in a breathless tide. Taking a team into the socks to retrieve her. No, that's German again. No. Well, German and like... I'm really trying to get a French accent out right now. It's taking some practice. German's just so much more fun. Taking a team into the socks to retrieve her. The radiation be damned. We will take appropriate precautions, of course. We must go. I'm not getting it, and I'm just gonna go with it. Hermie, I think the body may be nearby as well. Somehow she has survived. For all this time. The figure explodes into static again, then clears. The figure flickers across the screen. May not be back for some time. Look after Mom, okay? I worry about her. And Hermie? Stay safe out there. I know that things are heating up in Berlin. I know you. Student protests, civil uprising. You'll be in the middle of it, I'm sure. Just stay safe, alright? And I'll do my best to do the same. I don't know what's going to happen when I step into the socks. But I do know one thing. If the fire wing is still a danger, I will put an end to her, once and for all. Alright, track 2. Yet again, it goes black, and the late client Green Winters appears on the screen. His elbow is planted on the table that he's seated at, and his chin rests on his palm. The other hand is wrapped around a bottle of cheap whiskey. And now this is December 25th, So this is Christmas 2053. He looks like someone. Who does he look like? Found the message Adrian left me all those years ago. Got it cleaned up as best as I could. Strange hearing his voice again. It's good to hear him. Even if he did insist on calling me Hermie. Dr. Adrian Vauclair, the hero of the people, the Dragon Slayer. My brother. Hard to believe it's almost been 20 years. Alright. So I'm gonna start recording these DVDs again. For me, for Adrian, for whoever might wind up watching them. Every time I do this, it winds up feeling like a waste of time. But I keep doing it anyway on the off chance that I'll find something important. If I stumble onto a clue that leads me to my brother, I know that I'm going to want it on film. I've been doing this for almost 20 years now, after all. No sense quitting now. Christ, 20 years. All this time and still no leads. Even with all my contacts and my resources. Even with my legendary bullheadedness, I have made no progress at all. I haven't turned up a single goddamn thing. Want to hear something funny? The closest I got to a clue was a rumor. Apparently a team emerged from the socks a while back. Nobody's clear on the date. But, and get this, supposedly they vanished without a trace. Not much of a rumor, considering I already know that you're gone, big brother. I live with that every day. Blah blah blah, something abruptly he disappears. There's a grinding sound from the DVD tray, and Green Winter's fit image appears on the screen once more. This time he looks far more eager, and it is almost a year later, so this is October 12th, 2054. Stumbled upon this archival footage of Fairschwinger's original attack, months before the Dragonfall. Easy to forget how devastating it was. Adrian saved a lot of people by bringing her down. I've got the footage all queued up to play. Starting it now. Additional comments to follow. And then the DVD player shifts to high-pitched whine. Distorted, wavering image blooms into being on the screen. A timestamp in the upper right corner of the screen marks the date as July 6th, 2012. I don't remember July 6th, 2012 looking like this. Do you? Particularly that ripple of, like, Technicolor. It's difficult to make out what you're seeing at first. The scene is dark and smoky, and the telltale flashes of emergency vehicle lights flicker in the periphery of the screen. The camera pushes in, and you can make out two figures standing in a ruined landscape. All at once, the sound cuts in. Again, for those joining us, we are coming to you live from Stolberg. A few hours ago, the Dragon Fairschwinger launched an unprovoked attack on the Sleemy Haas mountain town. You can see the results behind me. Fire, ashes and blood. We are joined tonight by a survivor of this latest and most horrifying attack. Sir, I understand you've been through a terrible ordeal. Thanks for taking the time to speak to us tonight. Yes, of course. If you could, sir, could you please tell the people at home about your experience with the attack? It was horrible. Just pure chaos. So many people are dead. People I knew, roasted alive, or trampled to death during trying to escape. My own house was burned to the ground during the attack. My family, they have nothing now. You all made it to the attack, though. Your wife... Oh, wait, that's the wrong... I didn't even notice the portrait changed. You all made it through the attack, though. Your wife? Your kids? Yes. We all made it, thank God. We rode out the attack in a small shelter. Me, my wife, and our 2 daughters. The shelter had protected us, but the heat was just unbearable. We couldn't have stayed in there much longer than we did. How long will you hold up in there? 3, maybe 4 hours? I don't know. We just stayed inside until the heat died down and the screaming stopped. And what happened after that? When it was over, you know, when the air cooled down, we stepped outside. There was nothing left, just smoldering wreckage, and this dense cloud of black, oily smoke, and the stench in the air. God, that smell, it smelled like roasting meat. There's a long pause from the tortured look on his face. You can tell that the man is struggling to decide whether or not to continue speaking. Eventually he does. My girls, they found what was left of their nanny outside. The body, what was left of it, was slumped against the shelter door. I kept telling myself I couldn't hear her pounding to get in. But that isn't true. I could. I couldn't bring myself to open the door. I couldn't risk my family like that. Not for her, not for anyone. Thank you, sir, for taking the time to speak with us. Yeah. You heard it here, an absolutely chilling account of tonight's attack. Again, the town of Stolberg has been reduced to ash, another victim of the Firewing. Stay with us for more up-to-the-minute reporting on Fairschwinger's reign of terror. And suddenly Grimwinter's face appears back on screen. Okay, it's time for a new approach. Adrian's a complete dead end. That much is clear now. So it's going to do some digging. Going to do some digging on Fairschwinger instead. Let's see how this goes. We are just getting exposition dump. We're like, sit down and watch the motherfucking movie that explains shit. Something snakes on this and Monday to Friday monkey fighting. Alright, so a couple weeks later, Green Winters appears back on screen. So this is Halloween. But that was a bust. Little progress on Fairschwinger either. I don't know. It's weird. The information is there. It's just wrong somehow. It's too well laid out. Too simple. Your life is messy and this just feels a little too neat. That's not the only thing that's nagging at me. I'm getting this tingling feeling all up and down my neck again. It feels like I'm being tracked. No Matrix hotshot, like Clockwork or Schaefer. But I'm good enough to know when someone's on my scent. I've got to install some new security measures. Can't be too careful. That was a really short one. Yet again, Green Winters appears on screen and he is seated at a computer. And he sounds really panicked. And this is just over a week later, the 9th of November. Whoa! Dude looks sweaty. Christ, I'm getting too close to something. There's a trail of bodies, and there have been disappearances. Gearbox, Marcian, Peregrine. They all disappeared within the last few years. Gearbox just went AWOL yesterday, and they were all making the same efforts, same sorts of inquiries about the Firewing that I have been. There are ghost stories spreading around the Decker community. Stories about Deckers disappearing and then showing up again later, but wrong somehow. Scary stuff. I'm starting to think that it's true. Blitz leans in to whisper to you. And all the stories he's talking about, Chief, never really put much stock into them. Not until now. Blitz is probably like half Australian, half Scottish, and that explains the accent. Could these rumors be related to what's happening here? Am I being paranoid? Pauses for a moment, as if it's seriously considering the question, and he shakes his head and slams his fist on the table. No, I don't think so. Something big is happening here. And I'm right in the middle of it. Iger cuts in. That's a bit of a leap. One other thing. Tolstoy, I recognize that name. That was a name that I saw in the BBS. Tolstoy told me a story about a kill team that might be related to all of this. Apparently a Decker named Hellebor posted a theory about Fairschwinger to the Shadowland BBS about 5 years ago. But an hour later, a mil-spec team showed up in meat space and cooked her entire apartment with her in it. If what Tolstoy told me was true, Hellebor live posted the event. She described her killer, this great big orc with skin grafts. That sounds familiar. Then the whole thread disappeared, gone without a trace. Leap, Iger love? Sounds like he's on the right track to me. Iger holds her silence but concedes the point with a small nod. On screen, Winters pauses. It looks like he's working up to something. Finally, he speaks. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. This has got to be Fairschwinger. All of it. Adrian was right about her. She's still alive. She's still out, and she's out of the socks. If I remember correctly, the socks is like a nuclear wasteland, which is where they shut down Fairschwinger. If I remember the story right. She's covering her tracks, working the shadows, preparing to rise again. And that means I have to find you, Adrian. everyone's sake. Thankfully, I've got a lead. For the first time in 2 decades, I've got a solid goddamn lead. I've backtraced all of the Matrix nodes that Hellebore was looking into. Back before she got cooked. Whoever's been purging the Matrix didn't think about that. And I found that she turned up. Which stabs a few keys on his keyboard. And an image expands to fill the screen of his monitor. A satellite photo of rural landscape annotated with GPS data. A set of map coordinates. So now I've got a target. A place to start digging. The Harfield Manor. Conveniently located on an isolated stretch of countryside, miles away from prying eyes. Matrix circuits indicate that some sort of data vault exists beneath the estate. So that's what I need to get into. And this is where we came in. As if on cue, a familiar image winks into the monitor to the left of Winters. Monica. I think I'm going to tap Schaefer for this job. She's got the skills to bypass whatever security they're running out of there, and she's gullible enough to take the job in the first place. I'll feed her some line about flux state security, and she'll eat it up with a spoon. I want her! I want her! And the display Winter's mouth parts into a broad grin. Time to put the plans into motion. By this time tomorrow night, I should have all the information I need. And on the off chance that Schaefer gets taken out, well, that'll tell me something too. Can't make an omelet and all that. Until then. And we've got one more track. When you play the 6th track, a small video window appears. You recognize the scene in the window. You are looking at the tattered drapes and nicotine-stained wallpaper of Winter's hotel room in Das Kesselhaus. And so this will be the next day he was in Das Kesselhaus. So, November 10th. It's a blur of motion and a haggard form of Green Winter slumbers into frame. Suspicions confirmed. Schaefer dead. Christ. Winters reaches a shaking hand off camera. A moment later, it returns clutching a cheap plastic drinking glass. He gulps something down, wipes his mouth with the back of his hand, and takes a deep breath. Okay. Back up. Slow down. Start from the beginning. Winters closes his eyes and makes a visible effort to calm himself. When he speaks again, his voice is steady. Got the call from my contact in the Kreuzbazaar. Schaefer killed on the estate run. Matrix's security at the estate cooked her brain. Considering Schaefer's skill and experience, on-site ice must have been extreme, even by Berlin standards. Security of that kind costs money. Real money. Given the evidence uncovered so far, corporate involvement, unlikely. The connection to Firewing is too strong. So, let's come out and say it. The dragon is what we're dealing with here. The smart money says she's coming for me next. Well, I won't go down without a fight. I've got my contacts, still got my connections, and the flux state can still be a hell of a weapon for the man who knows how to manipulate it. Winters takes another long pull from his glass, grimaces and swallows. Time for me to make my play. Ghost stories or no. Missing Deckers or no. I've got to jack into the Matrix and start pulling strings. The countermeasures that I installed earlier should be more than enough to keep me safe for the 20 minutes I'll be in there. Yeah, that didn't go so well. Winters drains the rest of the glass, then he tosses it back over his shoulder. A moment later, you hear the dull, clattering sound of hard plastic on linoleum. Schaefer's death was tragic. She was a staunch supporter of the F-State, but still, all things considered. Winters fishes something off screen. A moment later, his hand reappears, clutching a data jack cable. Better her than me. He plugs the cable into his head, and the screen cuts to static. As your finger nears the eject button, a black screen cuts in over the static. A moment later, Green Winter's haggard face appears. If you're watching this, I guess they caught up to me. They will be after you, too, now. Blitz whispers in your ear again, more harshly this time. What the hell is this? Why didn't you warn me about this before I came here? I'm kind of tempted to do that. I'll scare you, idiot. Whoever you are, whatever you think you're after, you need to find Dr. Adrian Vauclair. Not because he's my brother, because if Furschwinger is rising again, he's the only one who can stop her. You've seen what happens to people who get too close to this. I'm dead, and dozens of others have died, and you'll be next unless you can find Adrian. And now the message is over. That was a lot of exposition. Like, a lot. Like, an amazeballs level of exposition. You know what, though? I think we're gonna let that sit. I'm gonna let it percolate in the old brainipede. And we're gonna call this the end of the stream. We now know why Monica died. We don't know what killed her. But the plot thickens. So, if you're enjoying this, or you're watching it later, you can check me out on, I don't know. I've been streaming and reading crap for like 4 hours. My brains are starting to cook. I need time. I'll need time, sir. I need time. I digress. If you're watching this later, or watching it now and aren't Pawn Scum, who I'm talking to randomly and digressing at again once more, then follow me on Twitch if you're enjoying what you see. Follow me on YouTube if you're watching this on YouTube, and if you're doing that, then you can do the opposite thing. And I'm also on Twitter, where I tweet and do. My next regular scheduled slot is Saturday morning, but I will likely be doing a 2-hour stream on Thursday night, and I will tweet about that. The 2-hour Thursday night stream is becoming more and more regular, but I want to make sure that I can fit it in without too much difficulty. I can't do a 4-hour stream because I need the time to be working on other things. Hopefully I plan on having some of this Shadowrun stuff up on the Tuba View by this weekend, and I'm working on hopefully a trailer that doesn't suck, that I can kind of be like, here, we'll enjoy that. So if that doesn't suck, then look forward to that. If not, then just look forward to the VODs. But anyway, until Thursday, hope you had a good time, and here's some VGM while the stream closes out.